Have you ever looked around your home, the one you spent decades building, and asked yourself, when did everything I worked for start feeling like it belonged to someone else? Maybe it started with a small favor, a little help with the bills, letting your adult child handle your banking because they're better with tech, or agreeing to babysit the grandkids just for a few weeks while your daughter gets back on her feet. At first, it all felt natural, like love in motion, like being a good parent. But somewhere along the way, you started feeling tired, a little invisible, maybe even a bit used. If that hits close to home, you're not alone. The truth is, many older adults give too much after retirement. Not because they're weak, not because they don't matter, but because they've been taught that love means saying yes, even when it costs you your peace. But retirement isn't about giving up who you are, it's about reclaiming it. In today's video, we're talking heart-to-heart about 7 things you should never hand over to your children after retirement. Not because you don't care, but because your well-being, your freedom, and your dignity matter, now more than ever. Let's begin with the first thing to protect: control over your financial decisions. There's a big difference between asking for a little help and handing over the reins completely. And for many retirees, this line gets crossed quietly, almost invisibly, under the disguise of convenience. You're tired of online passwords. You're not sure how to navigate the bank's new app. Your son says, "Let me just take care of it, Mom." And so you say, "Sure." It seems harmless until it's not. I knew a man named Mr. Luis, sharp, funny, loved gardening. He told me he used to manage every penny himself until he had a mild stroke. His daughter offered to help, and he agreed. She meant well, but after 6 months, she'd changed the bank account, taken over bill payments, and even sold some of his shares for easier access. He wasn't angry. He was numb. He told me, "It's like watching someone else live your life with your money." Let's be clear, this isn't about distrust. It's about preserving your power. Your finances are more than numbers. They are symbols of your independence. They determine whether you can stay in your home, travel, get the care you need, or simply enjoy dinner out without checking your balance. It's okay to ask for help, but it's also okay to say, "I still want to be in control." Set boundaries. Use shared accounts only when necessary, and keep your own separate access. Know what's happening with your money. Have a trusted third party, a financial advisor, even a friend, help review decisions if you need an outside perspective. Because once you hand over that control entirely, getting it back is like trying to swim upstream. You shouldn't have to fight for a seat at the table when it's your table. Now, let's talk about the second thing you should think twice before giving away. The deed to your home or property before it's time. The house, the place where birthdays were celebrated, quiet mornings were treasured, and life unfolded in a million little ways. Your home is not just wood, walls, and windows. It's your history. And more importantly, it's your leverage. Sometimes, out of love or a desire to simplify things, retirees transfer ownership of their home to their children early. They'll get it anyway someday, you think. Or maybe someone convinced you it'll help you qualify for Medicaid, reduce taxes, or protect assets. But here's the hard truth. Once your name is off the deed, so is your control. I met a woman named Auntie May, 83. Still cooked Sunday dinner for the whole family. Her son told her transferring the house into his name would make everything simpler. He was charming, smart, and struggling with debt. Within 2 years, the home was used as collateral for a failed business venture. She didn't just lose the paperwork, she lost her sense of safety. "I gave him my roof and ended up in someone else's storm," she whispered. "It doesn't have to be that way. There are options, smart, legal, respectful options that allow you to plan without surrendering ownership. Living trusts, retained life estates, or joint survivorship plans can all help manage inheritance concerns without putting your stability at risk. And remember, no one has the right to rush you into a decision about your own home. Not out of guilt, not out of convenience. If someone says, "But this will help us avoid probate," ask who it's really helping. You have every right to age in place, to choose how and when your home is passed down, and to protect the sanctuary you've built. Because you didn't spend 30 years paying off a mortgage just to feel like a tenant in your own living room. If anything in this video so far has resonated with you, if you've ever felt pressure to give more than you're comfortable with, take a moment right now and comment below with the word boundaries. It lets me know you're here, you're thinking, and you're ready to reclaim your space. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss the next conversation we have. Because trust me, you're going to want to hear the rest of this. We've still got more to cover, and these next few points might just surprise you.
You've probably heard this phrase before, time is money. But when you're older, you begin to realize that time isn't just money. It's more valuable than money. You can earn money back. You can't earn back time. And yet, many retirees unknowingly give away this most precious currency without even noticing. It begins with small asks. Can you pick up the kids from school today? Can you help me move? Can you come over and watch the baby just for a couple hours? And because you love your family, because saying yes feels easier than saying no, you agree. Again and again. Until one day you realize your afternoons are no longer your own. You're always on call. Your own appointments get delayed. Your plans become tentative. You start to lose the rhythm of your own retirement. That's why the third thing you should never give away too freely is your time and energy. Let's be real. After a certain age, your energy doesn't bounce back the way it used to. You may still feel young at heart, but your body is asking for rest, rhythm, and space. And when you're constantly pouring yourself out for others, without boundaries, there's often very little left for yourself. I once spoke to a man named Raymond, Sifor, a former teacher, a sharp dresser, and a total softie for his grandkids. He told me he loved spending time with them, at first, but what began as helping once or twice a week turned into full-time duty. School pickups, sleepovers, errands. I felt like I had a job again, he told me, but this time no paycheck and no off switch. It's not about saying no to family, it's about saying yes to your well-being. Start by checking in with yourself. Ask, am I helping because I want to or because I feel like I have to? That one question can reveal a lot. Then begin setting small, respectful boundaries. Maybe you'll help on Mondays and Thursdays, but not every day. Maybe you'll babysit occasionally, but not be a live-in nanny. And if it feels hard to say no, try this. I love being with the kids, but I also need time to take care of my own health and rest. That's not selfish, that's honest. Your time is sacred. These years are your reward for decades of work, sacrifice, and giving. Protect them fiercely. And don't let guilt trick you into trading them away. Now that we've talked about time, let's move into something even trickier to navigate, and that's emotional labor. Because the fourth thing to protect as you age is your emotional peace. Here's what I mean. As a parent, you've spent years being the fixer, the rescuer, the one who holds the family together when everything falls apart. You're the one they call when they're heartbroken, stressed, or scared. You're the rock. But rocks get worn down too. I want to tell you about someone I once met, Marilyn, age 77. Her son called her nearly every day, venting about his marriage, his job, his bills. She wanted to be there for him. She loved him. But after months of absorbing all his pain, she told me, I started feeling like I couldn't breathe, like his storms had become my weather. That's what happens when emotional caretaking becomes your full-time role. You take on someone else's stress, but you don't always have a way to release it. And the weight can feel unbearable. Here's the truth that might feel hard at first, but also freeing. You are not your adult child's therapist. You are their parent. And at this stage in life, your emotional energy is too precious to be drained daily. That doesn't mean you stop listening. It means you start listening differently. You can say, "That sounds really hard. Have you thought about talking to a counselor?" You can say, "I'm here for you, but I don't have the capacity to carry this alone." You can even say, "I love you, and I trust you'll find your way through." Those words still offer love, but they don't require you to sacrifice your peace. You have your own emotional needs, grief to process, transitions to navigate, maybe even old wounds that are just now being felt. And if your emotional bandwidth is always used up by other people's problems, you'll never have the energy to work through your own healing. Let me tell you something I wish more people said to those over 60. You are still allowed to grow. You are still allowed to change. You are still allowed to say, "This is too much for me," and mean it. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, drained, or emotionally stuck because you're the family sounding board, pause, breathe, and remember, it's not cruel to step back. It's courageous. You're allowed to protect your peace. In fact, I'd argue it's one of the wisest things you can do. And if you've made it this far in the video, I want to invite you to do something small but powerful. Drop a heart in the comments to let me know you're still here, that you're listening, that you're thinking about what this means for your life, not someone else's. And if you haven't subscribed yet, this is the time. Go ahead and click that button and turn on the bell so you don't miss the rest of these deeply important conversations. Because what we're doing here isn't just talking, we're reclaiming power. We're rewriting the retirement narrative from "keep giving until you disappear" to "retire, don't relent."
There's something sacred about this stage in life. After decades of doing for others, building careers, raising children, holding families together, you finally arrive at a season where, for once, you're allowed to breathe, to sit with your morning coffee a little longer, to walk slower, to think deeper. Retirement should be your time of peace, not pressure. And yet, for so many older adults, peace becomes a moving target, especially when something unexpected happens, like stepping into a role you never intended to hold again. That brings us to the fifth thing you should think very carefully before handing over: direct responsibility for raising your grandchildren. Now, don't get me wrong. Grandchildren are pure joy, a gift, a second chance at experiencing wonder. But love, as powerful as it is, does not cancel out exhaustion, joint pain, or the fact that your energy has limits. What might have been effortless at 35 now takes planning, recovery, and strength that isn't endless. I once sat with a woman named Celine, 72, who agreed to care for her 2 young grandkids just for the summer. She was happy to help, but one summer turned into the school year, then the next. She found herself packing lunches, juggling schedules, and wiping tears in the night. "I forgot what silence feels like," she said. "I love them with all I have, but I don't have enough left." Taking care of young children is beautiful. It is also relentless. And when that responsibility falls squarely on your shoulders, in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, it can slowly chip away at your health, your time, and your emotional reserves. This isn't about abandoning family. It's about being honest with yourself and with your adult children. Ask yourself, was this arrangement chosen freely, or has it become an expectation? Do I feel energized by it or overwhelmed? Have I sacrificed my own doctor's appointments, sleep, or friendships to keep up? If the answer is yes, it's time for a conversation. Support doesn't have to mean full-time childcare. It can mean showing up on weekends or reading bedtime stories on Zoom. It can mean offering backup, not being the foundation. Let your children know that your love is steady, but your time and energy have boundaries. It's okay to say, I can be present, but I can't be primary. You are allowed to enjoy your retirement. You are allowed to rest. And most importantly, you are allowed to not raise a second family. That doesn't make you cold. That makes you human. Now, let's talk about something else we often give away too quickly, especially when it comes from a place of guilt or urgency, and that's your retirement savings or emergency fund. We all want to help our children succeed, and when they're struggling, when rent's behind, or the car breaks down, or they whisper, I just need this one time, you reach for your wallet, not out of pressure, but out of love. But here's the reality. You can't pour from an empty account. Every dollar you give away after retirement is a dollar you may never replace. You're no longer earning the same income. Medical bills may rise. Costs change. And once that cushion is gone, rebuilding it is incredibly difficult, especially if your health changes or you need long-term care. I once spoke with a gentleman named Henry, 81, who loaned his daughter a few thousand here, a few thousand there. Credit cards, car trouble, college tuition for the grandkids. I thought I was helping, he said, but I was just burning through my future. Now he finds himself calculating whether he can afford a new pair of glasses or if he needs to wait till next month. That's not support. That's sacrifice. You are not a bad parent for saying, I have to protect what I've saved. In fact, your children may respect you more for being clear. They may even feel relieved knowing they won't have to support you financially later because you set healthy boundaries now. If money is tight, and you still want to help, offer time, advice, or connections before cash. Suggest other ways they can find solutions, through loans, community programs, or budgeting strategies. And if you do give money, decide in advance what your true limit is and stick to it. No guilt, no pressure, just wisdom. Your retirement savings exist for one person, you. To keep you safe, to keep you independent, to help you age with dignity and not worry. That is not selfish, that is smart. Now, let's bring it home with the seventh and final thing you must protect at all costs. Your right to make your own life decisions. This is one that often sneaks in quietly. A comment here. A suggestion there. You should really stop driving. Why don't you move closer to us? I think you should sell the house. It's too much. At first it sounds like care, and maybe it is. But when those suggestions come without real listening, when your voice isn't part of the conversation, they stop being helpful and start feeling like control. Your life, your home, your schedule, your healthcare choices, even your social plans, should never be made without you. You've earned the right to decide how you spend your days, where you live, and what kind of support you do or don't want. I remember Elaine, 79. She moved across the country to live near her daughter after months of pressure. It'll be easier, her daughter said. We'll be close. But within a year, Elaine felt lost. Different climate, no friends, different doctors. She said, I left my roots and got transplanted into someone else's garden. That's what happens when decisions are made for you, not with you. You can take input. You can appreciate concern. But you are the author of this chapter. No one gets to hold the pen but you. If someone suggests something that doesn't feel right, don't be afraid to say, thank you, but I know what's best for me right now. That sentence may feel small, but it can change the course of your life. Because this season isn't about disappearing, it's about defining. and you deserve to define it on your terms. So let's pause for a moment. Which of these 7 areas hit home for you? Which one made you stop and think, maybe I've given too much? And which one are you ready to reclaim? I want you to know this. It's never too late to draw a boundary. It's never too late to protect your peace. It's never too late to say, this is my life, and I'm going to live it with clarity, courage, and care. If this video spoke to you, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments. Let us know which part resonated most. Let us know how you're taking your power back. And if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon. Your support helps us keep creating these conversations that matter. Because retirement isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of a chapter written not in obligation, but in freedom. Here's to living your truth, holding your ground, and retiring without relenting.